you love the work that you do. And because AI is automating those processes, your passion and your drive is being sucked away. Welcome to Executive Coaching in the AI Era, the place where you get real, no fluff, proven processes for navigating the chaotic, ever-changing corporate world. I'm Stacy Mayer, executive coach, promotion strategist, and best-selling author. For the past decade, I've been helping senior leaders like you make the intangible process of getting to the leadership table tangible, even during layoffs, economic downturns, and AI disruption. Let's go. Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to another episode of Executive Coaching in the AI Era. I am your host, Stacy Mayer, and super excited, as always, to be here with you again this week. I hope you're having a wonderful Maycember. This is a very hectic time of year for those of you who have children in particular, but it can also be a very stressful time of year in the corporate world directly because maybe you're gearing up for some early summer deadlines. Perhaps you're getting really excited to just check out, for a couple of weeks of vacation, which is really awesome. But what that often entails is doing a ton of legwork to prepare for your vacation. Or maybe you're somebody who's been on the job hunt for a long time and you're just excited to take a break from job searching. By the way, I don't recommend taking a break during the summer from job searching if that's your case, but I'll have to record another podcast episode on that one. For today, we're going to be talking about this idea of a promotion is not a reward for your hard work. That's chapter 1 of my book, Promotions Made Easy, a step-by-step guide to the executive suite. And it's also a tried and true methodology for what is not going to get you to that executive suite, to that executive level table. It's also the thing that is not going to have you be successful once you get there. So if you are a person who is sitting in the executive suite and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, this could be the reason why, because you're spinning your wheels in the wrong areas and you're working harder, not smarter. These are all mottos that exist for a reason. And in the AI era, I think it's even more important because so much technology and ideas are being thrown at us that we have a lot to hustle about, that we have a lot to work really hard at. I think that there's different times and ebbs and flows of our career, like perhaps when you're in the earlier parts of your career where you just want to buckle down and hustle and learn everything that you can and just become an expert. And now I think no matter what age or period of your career that you're in, there is this feeling that you need to just buckle down and become an expert in, let's say, AI or whatever new technology your CEO is pushing down to the leadership team. And that can be very realistic and very important. And so I first want to acknowledge in today's episode that it's important to be the subject matter expert. It's important to know how to do your job. And if you're in a higher level individual contributor role listening to this podcast, heck yeah, you better figure things out or you're going to get left behind. I'm not saying that to scare you. It's the truth. It's what's already happening. But this idea that we can work harder and we can produce results for our boss, for our organization, and then that's going to lead to some sort of incentive like a promotion is very misguided. Now, the problem with this information is that you are hearing from your boss or from your boss's boss that all they care about is for you to learn AI, for being the first to market or for being you're already past the first to market, but whatever it is, that being able to change the system, being able to create better processes for the organization is your job description now. But the thing is that if you solely focus on that, because that is true, right? Then what you're not focusing on is strategic career development. And strategic career development may seem like it's on the back burner for now, but I'm telling you, it needs to be put on the front burner. Not even necessarily so that you can keep your job. So, this is a really interesting thing. So, you could do everything that I suggest in today's episode and really build relationships with your board, your CEO. Make sure that you're talking about the bigger picture of AI and whatever the work is that you're doing. Make sure that you're showing your work, quote unquote, that you're sharing with leadership about the hard things your team is working on and all of the developments that are happening and how you were solely responsible for all of that. All of that can happen. And guess what? You still have a chance of getting laid off. That is a thing. So I want you to understand why you are getting better at technologies, right? Why it is important to understand AI, why it would be fun to learn AI. And actually, that's the answer to the equation is that if you are having fun using these technologies and you seem to be getting better at it faster and you're helping your team operate faster or you're helping your organization bring in more money to your organization through using technology, fantastic. That is reason in and of itself to begin using AI and understanding and quite frankly mastering AI, right? Like that is a very good reason. And I have several clients that are having so much fun with AI. I think a lot of women are really embracing this technology and having like doing really creative things, working really hard. I have a lot of clients that are in engineering backgrounds, now transitioned into executive leadership, and they're literally like killing it in AI, right? But guess what? Their career progression is literally at the exact same point that it used to be. So, AI or mastering AI, guess what? The only thing that it helps is the organization to stay afloat. So ultimately, you can be so good at your job that you keep the organization alive. That's amazing. That in and of itself is job security. Maybe you are so good at AI that you end up becoming a consultant and starting a business. Guess what? That is job security, right? You're going to continue to make more and more money. But if you are doing AI and really making sure that you're utilizing this technology to its fullest extent so that you can keep your job. I'm sorry, we just had 6,000 layoffs at Meta this week. I guarantee you, a lot of the people who got laid off this week were really good at their job. So, this is not going to keep you at the organization. But what it can do is it can keep you inspired. It can keep you having fun. It can keep you relevant. You know, one of the biggest things, especially for people who work as like software engineers or project managers, is that you love the work that you do. And because AI is automating those processes, your passion and your drive is being sucked away. And so, if you can replicate that by creating programs and projects and platforms on AI and you start to re-engage with your work again and it seems really, really fun, then heck yeah, it is worth it to be the best at your craft. I guarantee you this is an important, important skill. And quite frankly, if you're not above average, then you probably shouldn't even be listening to this podcast, right? You need to go out and get another certification or something because you need to be good at your job. Now, here's the challenge is that the next step is how you are using the work that you're doing and what you are sharing with other people. So, you heard me share in last week's episode about the most important capital that you can have to manage your career, and that is 150% relationship capital. So, what your job is now in the AI era is to do the best possible job that you can do, to fully enjoy it, to fully embrace it, to think outside of the box. If you're leading a big team of other people who are mastering AI, have enough understanding so that you can continue to lead them. But the biggest and best and most important thing that you can do in this entire process is to stay engaged in relationships with the executive team, with the board seat. So let's say you're already a vice president And yet you still report into, maybe I have a lot of clients that are very flat organizations and they report into another VP, or maybe they report into the C-suite, but they're still not the top decision maker. They're still not included in the executive team meetings and the conversation. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to include yourself. So you're going to use 15-minute ally meetings to build relationships with other executive leaders all across your organization. So you're going to want to make sure that you continuously connect, not just about the work that you're doing, but about how you're doing it, how you're thinking about it. You're going to engage with those leaders about what they're seeing in the market, about what they're seeing in terms of change. Are things moving fast enough? What is it that's going to move the needle? Where is the future headed? Just sort of like philosophical conversations with your executive team. When you do this, you become more valuable for your organization. So if you're a person that the CEO relies on to bounce ideas off of, to hear about, to know information from, you are automatically going to be more valuable to them, right? Not just because you're the quote unquote top engineer or best leader in terms of AI and maximizing the output that your team is doing. Again, all that's going to do is help keep the company alive, but because they need you and your ideas. So ideas are always, always, always more valuable than the actual output that you create. And right now we're seeing that because we can create more and more and more output automatically. But if we don't have the ideas surrounding it and we don't know the direction that we're taking with that output, then we can feel very lost at the end of the day. So your job, knowing that a promotion is not a reward for your hard work, is to do hard work for itself, because you're a high achiever, because your work matters, because you have a strong work ethic, because all of those things, and quite frankly, because you have a job and somebody's paying you to do something. So you should do your job. But you're not going to rely on that as being the sole thing that is going to keep your career alive. Okay. So now let's say you are building 15-minute allies with all of the executive team. You have conversations with the board. They're actually putting you up in front of the board. Now you're doing presentations about the future of your organization in your specific area of expertise. You're making sure that you tie it into what's happening in the world, what's happening in the bigger landscape of your subject matter expertise. You're doing all of those things right. And let's say your CEO gets let go tomorrow, right? This is a question, I kind of like doomsday question that I ask my clients. Like, what happens if your boss leaves or your CEO leaves? Are you shit out of luck, frankly, right? Is that a thing? And a lot of them will realize that it is a thing. It's a huge thing because they've put all their eggs in one basket. The CEO is the reason they still have a job. Their boss is the reason that they're important, that they're getting included in those conversations. And so then let's say, okay, let's keep going down this rabbit hole that your CEO leaves or your boss leaves, and now you're not included as much as you were before. You're not enjoying the conversations. You feel like all you're doing is going back to your desk and working, all of this work that you did. And let's be honest here, we're not doing this so that we can have a promotion. We're doing the hard work and even listening to my podcast so that we can have more influence, right? You want to be included in those conversations, and that's your birthright, right? Like, you deserve to be included in those conversations. And this is the work that I do, is I help you get promoted and I help you get included in those conversations. That's your promotion. You feel like your ideas matter, and that's way more life-sustaining, right? You feel better about your job. So let's say now your job is on the hook. Everybody on the leadership team is leaving, and you're not even sure if they're going to keep you or whatever. And, definitely use my process to get in front of all the new people and see if you have a chance at this organization first. But ultimately, you have to start thinking about where are you going to go instead, right? How are you going to go out into this crazy job market and find a new VP level role? Oh my God, that sounds insane. But it's not insane because you've built up that relationship capital, not just at your organization, but externally as well. You're building relationships about what matters in the industry, people who know people. You know people who know people, right? And you know people who you can call on when things aren't working. And you've developed and managed those relationships to an extent that you can just pick up the phone and ask them for a job, like I said a couple episodes ago, right? And so you're wanting to be really think outside of the box and to consistently remind yourself that AI and all of the work that you're doing to master AI is simply a one for you and a one for your company. We could say it that way. It helps them and it helps you feel inspired. You feel like you're on the cutting edge. You are producing great output. You might even be creating a technology that is really, truly going to move the needle. And heck, if you're ready to start your own business, go do it. You are doing something really great, but ultimately it's one for you or one for them. And what I always want to teach is that there's this middle way that actually creates job security and relevance. So, knowing that it's one for you in terms of mastering this technology and getting so good at it, or creating new platforms or new agents or whatever it might be, all of the jargon to be able to create that longevity for your brain. Now you can begin to talk about what it is that you're doing with other executive leaders. And now you've solidified your place on the executive team. And if that doesn't work out, quote unquote, you've solidified your place on any executive team, right? You have built relationships across the board so that somebody else is ready to scoop you up and hire you, right? You see how this works? This one for you keeps you in inspiration. It keeps you building relationship capital. And then now you can go out and you can find the opportunities, or you can interview better even or with strangers, and you can stand out as the top candidates for new and engaged opportunities because you know the ultimate power of the work that you're doing. You know how to communicate about your decision-making process, about how you are thriving in this chaotic situation in the world, how you have produced huge results for your organization. You know how to sell all of that stuff so that you make your career continue to grow and escalate and expand, and your passion and drive continues to blossom. All right, my friends, thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Before you go, if you have not yet subscribed to this podcast, do so now. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go there at stacymayer.com/YouTube and subscribe today. And if you know a colleague, a friend, anyone who needs to hear this message, share this information with them now. Post it to your LinkedIn profile. We are navigating this AI era together, and I am thrilled to help you on this journey. If you want to work with me personally, I invite you to schedule a call with me at stacymayer.com/discovery, where we will map out a career strategy specifically tailored to you. Whether you've recently been laid off or you're just looking to navigate this chaotic landscape and you no longer want to do it alone, go to stacymayer.com/discovery and schedule your free call today.